Has enough time passed yet that I can talk about this game without mentioning... Damn it! Yes, J.K. Rowling, transgender rights. I know, she sucks. We all know that. Can I play the game now? Well, before that happens, there's the, nowadays more normal, accessibility options. There's a whole bunch. Colourblind mode, left-handed, high contrast text, arachnophobia mode. I can deal with Conan Exiles, as long as I don't go near the boss spiders. Earth Defense Force can go fuck itself. So long as they don't fill the screen, I'm fine. I'm gonna leave it off for now. Hogwarts Legacy is set in the mid-1800s thereabouts, which means we don't have to anchor ourselves anymore to the one that will not be named. No, not that one. Yes, that one. It is still beholden to the wizarding world and Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in particular. To counter this feeling of being shackled to the same old building though, the developer decided the map should include half of Scotland. Honestly, I approve. You're supposed to be heading to the school, but after an impromptu dragon attack, you're whisked off to a remote location, then off to Gringotts Bank, attacked by goblins and dropped unceremoniously in front of Hogwarts.
Nice of you to join us. The sorting ceremony's over.
There were complications.
Complications?
It seems the goblin problem has...
Enough. Goblins. I've no time for rumors, Fig, and I'm rapidly losing whatever patience I had left. If you're lucky, we might still be able to get you sorted this evening.
And because this is Hogwarts, you have to undergo the most stupid school entrance exam ever conceived. The sorting ceremony. You answer a single question that dictates which house you go into. Then, it allows you to override that dictation. I mean, why bother asking if you can just pick one? And it's at this point I made a decision that I am totally convinced massively improved my time with the game.
Slytherin!
What are you lot cheering for? I just picked the evil house. Actually, truth be told, the Slytherins in this game are not portrayed as the bad guys like they are everywhere else. They're portrayed as, well, students.
Ah, I know who you are. You're the new Slytherin, the one who barged in with Professor Fig last night. Interesting tactic on your first day, taking all the attention away from the first years. I'm Imelda, by the way. Shame I wasn't with you in Fig. I could have lured that dragon away. My skills on a broom are legendary.
That's it. I like it. Makes a nice change.
I won't talk about this. What do you want?
You still have to attend classes, but classes are mostly just an excuse the game uses to introduce a new mechanic or spell to place at your disposal. You don't have to turn up regularly, or even to a schedule. You just make an appearance whenever you're ready. This is every school kid's dream.
Accio! That is not bad.
You are a swift learner. I see a lot of potential, but remember, potential is nothing without practice. Keep at it. You might just rival Miss Onai here.
Each spell has a different effect, as you might expect, and unlike the films, follow the rules. The disarm spell actually knocks a weapon out of the enemy's hand, assuming such a thing is possible in the first instance, of course. Your standard attack is Basic Cast. Yeah, this is one of the things that's coming for some criticism from this game. See, Basic Cast is not a spell that actually exists in the Wizarding world, not in the books, not in the previous games or the films or anything. It's made up specifically for this game. That said, I don't think the Wizarding World's rules were initially conceived with a video game in mind. Each spell is colour-coded, which seems pointless, until you realise enemy shields are colour-coded too. Yep, match the colours to break the shields. Your shield is a temporary counter. It will block certain spells, but you have to time it right. Other spells, you have to dodge.
You haven't got a prayer. Stupefy. Reduction. Bombarda. Stupefy. Confringo.
That was a mistake.
Potato. Reduction. Bombarda. Potato.
Oh, too hard.
You can customise your appearance independent of what you're actually wearing. You would think more games would have learned this lesson by now. Some of them still haven't. There has been much criticism also of the enemies. Dark witches and wizards seem to only know 1 or 2 spells apiece. Usually Basic Cast and Burn, at least at the start. They don't use spells that, frankly, could end the fight almost instantly, like Pull, Freeze, or Disarm. As a result of that, you, the fresh-faced rookie, relentlessly outclass them. If it wasn't for the fact that you're constantly outnumbered, none of these guys would last more than half a second, considering the system allows you to juggle enemies mid-air. Oh, and another point of criticism, there's no real difference between the dark spellcasters and the poachers. They're just people with wands. Later in the game, the Dark Ones do start to deploy other people with a liking for other spells, but they still only seem to know 1 or 2 apiece.
You're no match for me. Is that all?
Confringo. Stupefy.
You're going to regret that. Don't do that.
Stupefy.
A moon calf. You will pay for your deed.
And no one to share in my victory.
Other beast-type enemies are a bit more interesting. Certain spells or spell combos will lay an enemy wide open for punishment, or just end them instantly. Some are easy to remember. Inferi, or zombies as most normal people will call them, can only be damaged after you've set them on fire. When preparing to strike with their tongues, giant toads can have their tongues levitated into the air, then slashed to deal them out. Ew! And Dark Witches and Wizards? Forget about it. See, each one has different spells, and each one also has a specific counter spell you can use against them at a specific moment, usually when they're casting or doing something, that will knock their asses into the middle of next week. But good luck trying to remember exactly which spell you're supposed to use against which type. Also, good luck trying to tell which type is on the battlefield when they all look the bloody same. And you know, the spiders aren't that bad. At least I don't think they are. I mean, they're big, obviously, the giant spiders, but they're not screen and underwear filling big. Now, another thing that has been much criticised, obviously, the lead character and others around you are trying to put down a goblin rebellion. It's made clear that the goblins are staging a rebellion, and that the wizards are opposed to the rebellion. But the game doesn't really explain why the rebellion is happening, only that it's happening. One would assume it's because the goblins are tired of being oppressed, of being second-class citizens, of not being allowed to carry wands because that's illegal for reasons. Eventually the game does deem to mention these things in passing. After I've been playing for about 20-30 hours, up to that point, you're the good guy, they're the bad guys. QED. I mean, if you don't really know why the rebellion is happening for half the game, you don't really know why you're supposed to be stopping it.
It's quite uncommon for a student to begin as a fifth year. It may be a bit of a challenge, but one I'm sure you're up for.
I can be quite resourceful.
I suspected as much. This is the entrance to the Slytherin Common Room. In order to enter, one must simply speak the correct password. Aspiration.
Very well. Aspiration.
Well done.
Now, because you're entering Hogwarts as an impromptu fifth year, you get some preferential treatment. I don't know why I just did that. You get a field guide book, which acts as the in-game menu. You receive additional assignments from the professors, thanks very much, which grant new spells. And the Room of Requirement, of course. The Room of Requirement is an endlessly customizable space which comes equipped with whatever the budding spellcaster might need. At least, that's the bullshit they repeat to you. Mostly the room is a whole lot of nothing. You can fly! On a broom, I mean. Broom flying takes some getting used to. Steering left and right is done with the left stick, but flying up and down is done with the right stick. Which incidentally means you can't aim the camera up or down. It's very weird, and a bit too sensitive for my taste.
Now that's more like it. Did it!
There are a large number of dungeons scattered across the land. Some of them hide little tiny collectibles, others are full-blown mission locations, hiding various secrets and... to turn arachnophobia mode back on. There are plants you can use in battle as well, and I went to a tremendous amount of effort to get them all, and I keep on forgetting that I have them. The mandrake stuns and damages everyone nearby. The Chinese chomping cabbage acts like an attack dog. And the venomous tentacula is a stationary turret. Growing plants is fairly easy. You place a grow bed in the room of requirement, choose a seed type and wait for it to mature. Done. What isn't so easy is collecting enough gold to actually finance and buy everything. There's different size grow beds, there's a seed for every different one. You only have to buy a single bag of seeds and a single grow bed, and you can do as many as you like, but they're so expensive. Even if you gather all the gold you can, even if you sell all your old equipment that you really don't need to keep a hold of, it just takes so long to assemble a full-size collection. So much for the room of requirement being fully equipped. Potion brewing is something you should have a go at. Some of them don't last a huge amount of time, but they do make a huge difference in a fight. Again, assuming you remember to use them. Unlike me.
Incendio. Incendio. Fringo.
Some ingredients can be grown in the room of requirement, but quite a few ingredients can only be found in the field. Leaping toadstools! Oh, they're so cute. Oh, now I feel bad. You also get the opportunity to rescue all sorts of magical beasts with a magic bag.
Levioso. Everything's all right now.
Those beasts can then be released into the vivarium in the room of requirement. Once inside, you can provide food and give them a brushing, which in turn harvests a material you can use to upgrade your armour at the loom. Yeah, lots of people took issue with you basically being a poacher, while you kick the crap out of other poachers. I have the moral high ground! There's a whole bunch of side missions scattered throughout the world. Accept them, ignore them. You always get rewarded for putting yourself to the trouble.
You see, I'm fond of creating my own charms. Thought I'd perfected my light as a feather charm to use on my library books. My arms get so tired carrying them around all day. But I must have confused the Latin word for feather with bird in my incantation, because when I opened my bag just now in the library, they literally took flight.
Some of them are companion missions. Specific people you get involved with come with entire mission chains, and are well worth the effort of playing them through to the end.
Look, down there. Definitely poachers. No creatures, though. So what are they doing out here? Let's take a closer look. What in Merlin's name? Are those dragons?
Another thing there's a whole bunch of, collectibles. I'm a completionist. I'm not obsessed. I'm detail-orientated. So many types. Treasure vaults, arithmancy doors, butterfly paintings, astronomy tables, Merlin trials, those bloody demiguise moons, and a bajillion field guide pages, most of them invisible. Invisible collectibles. What the hell were they thinking? Yes, I know, the reveal spell rings a bell when they're nearby. It's still a pain in the backside finding them all. And if I hear Hedwig's theme one more fucking time... Stop it! I wouldn't mind, but Hedwig hasn't even been born yet. And good luck trying to track everything down. The map and guide system makes it very easy to reach missions and flue flame fast travel points. Wow, try saying that 5 times fast. But when it comes to navigating yourself towards that random chest in a corner of the castle, no sodding chance. Hogwarts Castle is a literal maze. Heading up a staircase may take you towards what you're after, but often when you get within 6 feet, you discover a wall between you and it. No obvious way round. It's infuriating. I prefer to spend more time outside the castle. At least then I can reach my destination by, heading towards it.
Poachers! Garniff was right then. I'd better be careful. What does it tell us?
And finally we come to the last cock-up of the game, or at least that's what everyone keeps saying. The unforgivable curses. You see, according to the law, the unforgivable curses are supposed to land you in wizard prison with a life sentence. No reprieve, no parole. Yet here, you can cast them whenever you like, and nothing ever happens. There's no blowback. And people think there should be. People think you should be punished. There's 2 reasons I disagree with that. First, casting an unforgivable in this game is impossible without a valid target. Any other spell can be hurled whenever, but an unforgivable will short-circuit without an enemy to zap. That makes it very hard to perform the spell around normal people to begin with. Second, I've killed so many people in this game without the unforgivable curses. Incineration. Explosion. Freezing. Blunt force trauma. Telekinetic slams. Deadly drops. These people are definitely dead. And that's before I consider how much wildlife I've slaughtered in the meantime.
A lamb to the slaughter. Your only delay had towards Incendio! I will not knew you would still have Rookwood, you made a grave. Such a jealousy. Aha, back some more. Reducto!
Confringo!
What do you
have the natural?
I'll check your pockets after this day.
You die for that.
Stop right there. You've made a mistake.
Indeed, data miners have discovered the framework of a morality system within the game's code, but it was never implemented. You don't need to be a data miner to see it, though. During conversations, you sometimes get a choice of response that has absolutely no effect on the game whatsoever. Me personally, I'm glad they decided against it. It means you're not beholden to random rules. Rules that say, I can burn people to death, but not zap them to death.
shameful what you've done to helpless beasts.
It may not be obvious from this video, but I quite like this game. It has its irritations, true enough. Navigating Hogwarts is a pain, juggling your spell loadout can be difficult, and enemies regularly encircle you in combat. But it's Hogwarts! We've seen it in games before, but not quite like this. Other games are beholden to what came before. This lets us off the leash in every way. The castle, the grounds, the spells, the lore, the characters, the secrets, the village of Hogsmeade, the lessons, the flying. The only thing that's missing is Quidditch. And I always found the rules around scoring bloody stupid anyway. It has an open world Ubisoft feel to it, and the combat is definitely a ranged version of Batman Arkham's free flow system. But it makes it its own enough to feel like it isn't just a clone of something else. It's familiar, but enticing nevertheless. I like the books and the films, I do. But every single time they bring out a video game, it's always tied to them. So the game always has to follow a set pattern. Not only do you know where the story and the characters are going, but you feel like it's rigidly bound to it. This is just free to do whatever it wants, and it does. It's like a breath of fresh air in the franchise, and I love it to bits for that.
You're worrying far too much. Nobody's looking at you.
That boy.
Why did you buy me a second pair? I hate these socks.
Novelty socks at that price can't be passed up. Be thankful you have socks.
I'd rather have no socks than be dancing like this.
You're not dancing, you're exercising.
Father, why is he dancing?
See? And you'd said the charms come out in the wash, but it
I've never known
hasn't.
someone so dramatic, just like your father. Anyone would think you had an affliction.
Has he been cursed?
Oh, please, can't we take these socks back to Mr. Hill and get me some
When
normal
you pay
ones?
for your own socks, then you get to choose. Until then, you'll learn to be thrifty and behave. You're starting to cause a scene.
Papa, can we really wash charms out of things?
Don't be absurd. That woman will say anything to avoid spending her canut.
Seriously, how do people cope with hats this big? I keep on bonking the point on the microphone. The microphone's up there. The rim keeps on bouncing off the back of my seat. I'm sat forward in my seat. If I sit on backwards, that happens. It's just ridiculous. God damn it. Anyway, the hair's annoying me as well. It seemed like such a good idea at the time. Now I'm seriously regretting it. Anyway, what did you think of my video? Leave a like or dislike down below. What did you think of Hogwarts Legacy? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And for those of you who can't get enough of my dulcet tones, you can always subscribe, ring the bell for notification. That's a different thing. Or if you want to inflict my irritating persona on someone else, you can always share instead. See you next time.